Nefarious by Dameon Thorn.
Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to Nefarious by Dameon Thorn. I am Dameon Thorn. And on today's episode, we have Jennings Brower. Did I say that right? Brower? Is it
You
Brower or is
did.
it Brower?
I
Jennings
usually get
Brower?
Broward or Bowser or any of those. So
I
you got it
love
right.
that. I just interrupted my own intro to correct it when I probably should have asked you beforehand. Redo. Okay. On today's episode, we have Jennings Brower. Jennings is an actor, model, and social media entrepreneur. I first came across Jennings cosplaying Lucifer on TikTok, and since then, he has accumulated over 3.4 million followers. Welcome, Jennings.
Woo! What is up, Damien?
What's happening, man?
Not too much, man. Yeah, it's been a wild ride this whole career path.
Yeah, we're gonna talk
How
about it.
let's
First,
do
tell,
it.
tell me about where you're from. What's the deal? What's happening?
Oh man, so I'm from Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
I have wanted to be a superhero since I was a little kid. Didn't know if that was an actual career path, so decided to study finance. And then right after graduating college, this whirlwind of content creating and acting happened.
Wow. Okay. So college ends, and is that when you immediately got into social media, or was there a break, or
So acting was the main focus. I was a cheerleader in college. That got me in touch with photographers, modeling people, and that led to getting my acting agency right before I even graduated college to then move to New York City to pursue acting. So actually, social media didn't start after college for at least a year or a year and a half.
so performing arts started way before?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so tell me about that. So how did you, I know you're an actor, so tell me about your acting journey.
It's been wild. So in college, Florida State University has a pretty good film program. I just couldn't figure out how, as a finance major, to be able to act in those productions. So I did make friends along the way, who did different like commercial competitions where they would try to make commercials, pitch it to brands, and see if they would get them picked up. So that's where I had my start. Beyond that, I actually in middle school would always choose the drama club. If I went to summer camps, I'd always choose the theater option. When it came to sports, I would choose fencing over baseball. Um, and
It
so I've
was
always
always, you were always leaning towards the creative more than anything.
exactly, it's always been part of my story. Just didn't know it could be all of my story, if that makes sense.
Wow. Wow. So you start posting and then it's just starts taking off. How did that feel? And did you know that you're going to transition from social media and kind of collaborate with your acting background, or talk to me about that?
Man, it was so I was in New York City pursuing the acting, went to a 2-year acting program to kind of get caught up with everybody who started off as child actors. And I had a friend that I was talking to at the time. Her name is Mel, and she said, "Have you ever thought about doing social media?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, there's TikTok now, which is kind of like the musically, kind of like the Vine. But with your natural energy and charisma, I think you would do really well." Um, and she really had to convince me to get on there, and I'm so thankful she did because we're kind of here now.
What's her name?
Um, Say it again.
What's her name?
Mel Weary.
Mel. Shout out to Mel.
Shout out to Mel because
Shout
she
out to Mel.
literally started all of this. So I cannot I cannot show enough gratitude to her for convincing me to do it. And she showed me how to start doing trends and everything else. And as I kind of picked apart the app and figured it out, it just, like you said, skyrocketed. And it's been a crazy journey ever since.
That's amazing. And so did it definitely help with the acting and getting more gigs and things like that?
You know what's interesting is it hasn't happened. So until I moved to LA, it wasn't immediately a acting opportunity creator.
Right.
In New York City, it was nice because I was able to start doing live streams. Live streams early on in TikTok just barely started having people able to donate and support in that way. So when it came to further opportunities in acting or modeling, that didn't really come across until I actually moved to Florida during the pandemic.
Oh, got it.
Um, but once I moved out to LA, I've been able to work with people like King Vader, who's a big YouTube creator, and create some really awesome short films and actually a full feature film with him
Wow.
uh, from social media. So it's been
When
wild.
did when did the LA jump happen?
So LA Jump happened about 7 months ago.
Oh, fresh.
Oh, fresh. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Um,
fresh.
and when, because I was in New York City for the 3 years after the acting classes, was still there working in commercials and smaller acting roles for about a year. Um, Pandemic happened. All of us, I think, expected it to last like 2 weeks. None of us really knew what it was. Um, and so I told my agent, I said, hey, I'm living in this acting house. I'm gonna go back to Florida for a few weeks, see what happens. 3 months later, my dad says, hey, do you want to go get your car? Because this is obviously lasting much longer than we expect. And that's why I decided to make the move back to Florida and then use that as a turning point eventually to go to LA.
How are you liking LA?
I can tell you. So my sister is a singer-songwriter
Right.
in Nashville, and about 5 years ago or 4 years ago, we moved her to LA for a 6 month internship with a publishing brand. So I got to be here for a week for that, and then 2 years prior to that, my family and I were going on a family trip for Christmas, and we had a layover in LA for a night. And seeing the geography and the way the entire city was laid out and the beach vibe with the mountains on the horizon, I knew 6 years ago that I wanted to be here. So even
Nice.
before or right as I was moving to New York City, I knew I wanted to be in LA ultimately. But I was told that New York City was the best to get the acting training, the studio work done before coming out to LA. So it is luckily Damien lived up to my 6 or 7 years of anticipation.
That's amazing. So you just talked about acting training in New York. Where did you train?
So there's a studio called the William Esper Studio.
Hmm.
They are Meisner based, which for those who don't know, method actors are the ones that, you are no longer Damien. You are now the Flash. And you've got to study all the comics and become just the Flash and let go of everything that makes Damien Damien. For Meisner, I stay Jennings Brower, but I give myself what ifs. So let's go extreme and say I have to play a serial killer. What makes the serial killer tick? What kind of emotions does he portray in certain scenes? And then what do I find for myself from my life experiences that I can relate to bring across those same emotions without me saying, oh, this, this man calling me a name makes me want to kill him. Instead, it's a what was said to me as a kid that made me so angry to be able to at least show that so that across the screen it comes across as real as possible for Jennings Brower trying to portray this character realistically and a kind of honoring that character. So I like that a little bit more because I stayed Jennings Brower the whole time instead of like some of the greats who have gone above and beyond to become that character and stop being themselves.
Right. Right. Well, I think that's fantastic that, you're not sending people dead mice as Jared Leto to Viola Davis. We
That is
don't
a
need to
prime
go that
example.
route. We don't need, sometimes it's okay to just be Jennings Power.
I mean, Heath Ledger was a prime example of a method
Right.
actor, not in what happened ultimately, but in
Right.
the sense of becoming that character and truly trying to live out being the Joker.
Absolutely. Well, now that we're talking about actors,
Sure.
now that we're in film, who truly inspired you directing and acting wise to get into this?
Man, Hugh Jackman, I think, is the all-time, and I think having worked in New York City and I did a lot of catering jobs, I've worked around celebrities. So I understand that mindset of we're all in the same room for a reason, but I'm also working, they're working most likely. Hugh Jackman, however, would be 100% somebody who I don't think I'd be able to keep my cool. So I know for a fact I'm gonna have to have like a little post-it note on my phone of a few questions, a few thank yous I'd want to give him, and then not say anything else because I'd be worried about rambling
You're gonna fangirl so hard in front of
so
him.
hard. He's one of those people that he's conquered TV, film, and theater and music in the
And
most
music.
amazing way.
Right.
Plus, he's the only human being who's ever played Wolverine, one of my favorite characters. It's just all of it.
It is pretty wild. Like I wouldn't jump to him, but as you are talking about it, I'm like, holy shit, actually, yeah, he is a force.
A
Hmm.
crazy force.
I really, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Any film directors where you're like, this is who I want to work with, or these films are what captured my heart for film and cinema.
Yes, the Russo brothers. Come on. um, I've wanted to be a superhero since I was a little kid. It's what inspired me to get into fitness. It's what inspired me to treat people the way I treat people and look at the world with the sometimes, delusional optimist vision that I have. Um, so yeah, working with someone like the Russo brothers would be a dream come true. And hear me out, everybody watching this podcast. We got to go see the trailer for the new Spider-Man. and Tom Holland showed up. And he said he, at 13 years old, on his first red carpet, manifested playing Spider-Man when somebody asked him what his dream role would be. So this is just me manifesting.
Just
Marvel.
manifest, dude. Put that energy into the world. I think if anything that this past 2 years has done is create a shift in our minds. And if we're not thinking positively, if we're not using laws of attraction, then what are we doing?
Exactly right.
And
And
specifically, we've watched definitely some of your videos, and you end on such a positive note for everybody. And your kindness and your positivity is just exuding through this interview right now. Just wanting to let you know, you should be proud.
Damien, I appreciate that. I'm not very good at hiding excitement and passion. So I appreciate the opportunity to be on here and even chat with you about these topics. These are some of my favorite things to talk about.
Absolutely. Okay, so now that we're still talking about film, what are your top films that you are like, I can watch this all the time, or this is what truly inspired me, and this is just so fucking dope, and everybody needs to watch it.
Yeah. So my first go-to is, I think, stereotypically for me, or any of the Marvel movies. But if I take a step back, some of the movies I've really loved. So there was one called The Untouchables or
Mm-hmm.
The Intouchables, and it was originally a French film. They redid it in America with Kevin Hart and the guy from Breaking Bad. I can't remember the name of the American version, but the
Okay.
French version was the one I watched first. And it's about this man who is a paraplegic. He's extremely wealthy, and he's looking for a new caretaker. And he brings in this guy who is totally unexpected, from a dangerous area of town. And the movie is funny, it's heartwarming, it's touching. And it was the first movie that I watched entirely with English subtitles in French. Um, and that was massively inspiring to watch these two actors bring so much emotion, so many different genres all together. Um, so movies like that, and also The Pursuit of Happiness,
Fantastic film.
massive, massive.
Fantastic.
And I'm actually
All right.
very excited to watch King Richard. Not trying to plug any movies, but King Richard with Will Smith and the uh, uh, Venus and Serena Williams
Yeah.
sisters is
Are
going to
you a
be.
big award season film guy?
You know what's funny? So living in the actor house in New Jersey, I had a few agents who were around often, and they always got opportunities to check out new movies coming out or nominated movies. I like was not a big time award watcher,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just a few of those that I have seen that really just had a huge impact on me, that just sticks in my mind. I definitely don't make the effort every single year. I should more as a studying actor. Um, but no, I don't tend to make too big of a.
It's not a big hoopla for you. You're like, I don't need
Exactly.
to. Okay, got it. But King Richard, you want to watch it,
Right.
right?
Um, for example, Inception.
Oh yeah,
I think looking at movies as well, Damien, you're a perfect example, my friend, of people that create in digital spaces. Think
right.
about, the Marvel movies. If the acting is good and you feel something, you have to also realize they're in front of giant green screen
Mm-hmm.
actors. Watching any of the to bring up movie, not Trolls, but the Smurfs, somebody having to talk to a little character and bring across that realism.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy acting challenge, but it's amazing to watch.
Jennings, you're an artist, and it exudes from you. It
I
really
appreciate
does.
that.
It really does. This is such a fun conversation. What are
It's a
you,
blast.
what TV are you watching right now? What has been something that you've binged and you're like, and you told everybody, I'm about this and you need to be about it?
I've got to say, kind of staying on the same or backpacking off the conversation of watching TV or movie that's kind of like international.
Okay.
I, growing up, never really watched too much anime. And especially during the pandemic, I had a friend of mine, Gabs, actually gift me a year-long subscription to Funimation. And so I
Ooh,
decided to go back and watch all the animes that I had kind of hinted at watching as a kid, like Dragon Ball Z. I'd played some of the video games, maybe watched an episode here and there. I watched like all of Pokemon, all of Sailor Moon as a kid. Watched, if you consider Avatar, that last Airbender to be anime. Um, but I went back and I binged all of Dragon Ball from Dragon Ball, the initial first season,
wow.
all the way through Dragon Ball Super, and I'm currently about halfway through Super. Um, and that's one for me. Of course, I've watched now Demon Slayer. I've watched Attack on Titan. I've watched, um, oh my God, so many Hunter x Hunter as well. that there's also a really funny one like The Life of a Spider or something that's just super out there. It has been amazing to check out international art in the space of anime. I haven't gotten into manga yet, but to open your eyes to different creative spaces, different areas, especially if you're willing to watch it in the original language, Japanese or whatever original language it's in, with subtitles. To be able to get that full experience is absolutely incredible. Another one, Squid Game, just finished up. Um, and I think it's been amazing to listen to people who maybe weren't super big into international content before say, look, as somebody who hasn't listened to a TV show or a movie in its original language, so many people said, I wish I'd watched it in the Korean because watching in English almost made it a little bit cheesy. Whereas the original Korean actors were so fantastic. Listening to their voices made the show so much deeper and more personal than I think listening to the American English dub, which
Anything dubbed is just garbage.
is tough.
It's just not it.
Yeah.
It's not it. But I love that you watched all of Pokemon and Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was a big one for our family. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Huge Sailor Moon fans. You also
As
have
you all can tell.
Pikachu and Charmander and Squirtle in the background. Who is your favorite Pokemon?
So if I had to choose from the original three, it'd
Yeah,
be Charmander,
same,
hands down.
hands down.
When it comes to a top favorite, if I could choose like a second favorite, it would have to be Arcanine
Okay,
because
still
I
fire
have
though.
right. My brother is my brother and I got a German Shepherd Timberwolf mix when we were in college, and he is now 120 pounds. His name is Chief. He is super sweet. He's yellow, or he's gold and white, and if you can imagine a dire wolf, kind of looks like that. So Arcanine, I think, is a perfect mix of my love for fire types and and a kind of a wolf looking dog, which I think would just be imagine having a massive fiery dire wolf. That just is cool to me.
Absolutely. I
You know,
felt like in Game of Thrones they didn't put the dire wolves in enough. I was like, could we get more of this? Can we get more of
100%.
this? And they didn't. And then the last
Yeah.
season, Arya's comes back and has like a moment. Sorry, this is like nerd talk.
No,
Uh,
I love it.
yeah. I mean, that's why we're here, right?
Exactly right.
Exactly. Music. What did you grow up listening to? And what are you listening to now?
This is fantastic.
Let's see if we're supposed to be best friends. Let's see. Let's
Okay.
figure this out.
I had a huge crush on Hannah Montana.
Let's go. She got
I
the
had a
best
huge
of
crush.
both worlds, brother.
She had the best of both worlds. Chill, not taking it slow. And then you rock out the show. Come on,
That's what it
we
is.
can climb those mountains because of Miley Cyrus.
Yes.
So major shout out to that. Big old Disney Channel kid.
Major shout out to Miley. Girl, we love you.
We love you.
We love you.
We appreciate all the work you've done over all of your career. So big Disney Channel kid, big Disney kid. So listening to all the Disney music. I still jam out to Disney music on the regular with my friends. We're all 25, 26, 27, 28 and up. I've actually listened to a lot of acapella because of my sister and her songwriting and finding my love for creativity, art, and music. So my favorite of all time is Pentatonics.
Okay.
And very fun fact is I got to meet Kristen,
Yeah.
who's the female vocalist at a movie premiere. And my buddies, who I sing Disney music with, found out that I knew of her and was very excited to meet her. So before I could be prepared to introduce myself, they walked over and said, "Hey, our buddy Jennings, a little bit shy. Do you mind coming to say hi?" But it was great. And she was super wonderful. I got to say
And a
thank
dream
you.
came true that night.
The dream came true that night, and it was a fantastic time.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
What are you listening to now?
So honestly, still a lot of the same Disney and acapella. I also listen to a ton of The Greatest Showman.
Yes.
I love right now all of the Disney reimagined. So for example, Panic at the Disco's Into the Unknown.
Oh, fantastic. Just over the
jam out
weekend,
to.
I was hanging out with my friends and we literally were just belting that. And yeah, it's so good. The Panic at the Disco version is so much better than the actual animated one. I only listen to that version.
Also, the reimagined versions of all of Greatest Showman are also fantastic
Yeah.
by all the different artists. I also love Linkin Park. Growing up was huge for me.
Okay, so we're gonna hang out.
Fantastic.
Comic-Con because that is my all time Linkin Park.
Yep.
It is.
All-time favorite.
Yeah.
Linkin Park, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, the whole mix of everything, for sure.
You're a big pop guy. Same.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Were you alternative rock as well?
absolutely.
There we go.
We would listen when you remember when Halo first came out,
Yeah.
and God dang it, if they don't bring back local multiplayer at some point, I will be so upset. Split
All
screen multiplayer, bring back. We will deal with the smaller screens. It's fine.
Are you getting into Infinite? Is that something
I
that
already have it downloaded. I haven't played it yet,
yeah.
but I will be getting into it for sure. But that's what the alternative rock is what we listened to and jammed out to while we played Halo multiplayer split screen with our 4 buddies packed on one couch looking at one small TV, and we had the best times.
Yeah. You touched on Disney music. What is your favorite? It's a hard question. It's a really hard question.
Tough. So tough.
But I have like a 3. But what is one of your favorite Disney songs?
Oh my God.
Say yours and I'll say mine after.
When it comes to recent stuff and not like childhood,
recent and classical, like classic Disney.
People will fight me on this. I know one of my buddies, Doc, will fight me on this. One of my favorite recent songs is "You're Welcome" with Dwayne Johnson.
Judging, continue.
I understand. Also, any of the Moana songs are some of my top favorites.
Fantastic.
Yes. Of course, Frozen has incredible music as well. I haven't seen the newest movie Encanto, which I'm very excited to check out.
I actually haven't seen it either.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. But if we're talking classics, Beauty and the Beast is fantastic. Be Our Guest is a banger. Oh my God. And who can forget Lilo and Stitch?
Lilo and Stitch has got some bops.
Hawaiian roller coaster ride, man. I can turn that on and wake up at 5 a.m. if I had to.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Mine is from Pocahontas, Colors of the Wind.
Oh, of course.
I think that is one of the most beautiful songs ever written. Of course, I love all of Frozen. Like pretty much every Frozen song is solid. But let's talk about the Caribbean-ness of the entire Little Mermaid soundtrack.
Oh my God. I am blown away that I just didn't even bring up any of the Kiss the Girl.
That's why I was like, you said You're Welcome. And I was like, okay.
I know, but that was one of the more like recent years. Yeah. Kiss the Girl is amazing. A Whole New World.
A Whole New World, tripping.
For duetting with that with your friends. Are you kidding me?
That's the best.
Of course.
I will sing Jasmine's parts all day. That's what I'm saying. We got to just do a Disney music episode where we just geek out about Disney music and like we'll do a full-on analysis.
Oh, and Tarzan.
Come
on.
And Tarzan. Yeah. Oh my God, you should bring your sister on and then have her analyze it musically as well. And that would be really fun.
If she was not at a songwriting session right now, I'd bring her in.
That'd be amazing. Okay. Wow. Got to know you a lot. Are you playing any video games right now? Or are you waiting to start on Halo Infinite? Or are you jumping to something else?
Yeah. So with my Twitch stream, harmless plug, I'm a variety creator. I play all kinds of games. If people request stuff, if people get stuff off the game wish list for me to play, most of the time, the ones that I'm the least likely to play are the horror scary games. But if somebody buys it for me, I will put some hours in, as much as I despise it with my life. For a 6'2" man who works out and loves superheroes, I hate ghosts and demon stuff, which is also ironic since I cosplay Lucifer. I understand that. Maybe it's part of like conquering that fear a little bit, you know?
Right.
But no, I love, have you played New World yet?
I have not played New World yet.
Oh my gosh. It's like the perfect mesh between old RuneScape and Skyrim. Like the quality of Skyrim with the fun open world multiplayer feel of RuneScape.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good time. My brother was always the sports video games guy. I wasn't as much. I enjoyed actually physically playing the sports. When it comes to other games, I was a big Destiny kid, massive Halo kid. And nowadays, if I do play a game, it'll be like something like New World, or even what is it? What's the other game that I play all the time? Something Valley. What is it? It's a 2D. I'm gonna find this right now.
Hidden Valley Ranch.
It's not Hidden Valley Ranch. I don't know if that's a game you can play. I'm sure there's some weird games you can play with Hidden Valley Ranch. Um, Valheim was like a big open world um what's a Viking game, which was super fun because you actually sail ships with your friends in multiplayer and
Right.
fight sea dragons.
Dope.
You know,
All about it.
here's a question for you, Damien.
What's up?
Did you ever read the Aragon series?
I remember I started reading Aragon and I didn't finish it.
Okay.
It's blue. I have it in my room. Yeah.
See, you have those details. Blue's Clues checks out. You do know Aragon, so
I know
that's good.
Aragon. My cousin probably read it like 17 times.
Sure.
Yeah. I remember I got Aragon, but I think I was reading Percy Jackson at that time. Because
Also,
it was like
fantastic
Harry
book.
Potter, Percy Jackson, and Aragon were all happening at the same time.
The Narnia series.
Huh?
The Narnia series.
The Narnia series? I did not read the Narnia series.
Did you read any of Animorphs?
Yes, I read Animorphs back in the day. I was a huge Goosebumps.
Same.
Why I'm Afraid of Bees. I don't know why that one. I don't know if do you remember that Goosebumps book?
I I imagine
The
that was
boy
one of your
turns
worst
into a
times.
bee and then has to live amongst bees and gets attacked. It is wild.
That's a
R.L.
whole
Stein
event.
is on another level. And he was
Yeah.
creating these things for kids.
You know what's crazy though? There was that TV show, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah.
And I'd get stuck watching it. When I say get stuck, I mean I'd flip through channels. I'd be like, oh, there's that one. Click, like, haha, I'm just gonna click through it. And I could never click past it. I had to watch it, even though I was terrified behind the couch.
Do you remember Erie, Indiana?
No.
That was a Fox show. It was also like eerie and creepy.
Woof.
Woof.
Here's one more question. This is a throwback of throwbacks.
Yeah.
MTV's Scarred.
No.
So MTV's Scarred. And I'm talking about stuff that I react to. I'm a very visual, I think, empath reactor. If I see somebody like wipe out on a snowboard, I cringe. I imagine what that feels like, and like my body like anticipates that impact.
You have like a synesthetic response.
I think so.
Yeah.
And so this TV show, Damien, was all about skateboarders, BMXers, rollerbladers, skiers, snowboarders, you name it, and the worst wipeouts. And this was before TV was like blurred out.
Right.
And they'd show a bone crack sticking out.
Oh, fuck that.
Everything, dude. I'm telling you,
No.
I would sit there with my friends, just like have my own little seizure aneurysm, just watching, and we couldn't change the channel. We were too stuck.
Oh, that's like Jackass.
But unblurred and uncensored.
Oh no.
And it was these kids that were like, do I help my friend who just crashed, or do I continue to film? And they can all continue to film, which is obviously why they have that footage.
Ooh, no, thank you. Speaking of that would be a nefarious action, right?
That would be a nefarious action.
Look at that.
Indeed. Wow, what a connection.
Look at that. Little segue. Okay, so our podcast is called Nefarious. Have you thought about this question? Has there been something in your life that you have done that's nefarious that you look back on and it still sticks in your mind? Can
you
be little?
I will knock on wood and say I'm so grateful. I've never really badly broken a bone, besides like fractured this knuckle, but it was a hair fracture, so it was fine. Big nefarious jump. I have always liked to play all different types of sports, try different things. I'm a good skier, Damien.
This is where it's going.
Damien, I'm a good skier. I am above average. I can ski black diamonds, double black diamonds. When it comes to jumps, Damien, I went X Games mode, and I don't go X Games mode on jumps, Damien. So this one time, my roommate at the Acton house in New Jersey that I lived in, he grew up a pro skier, like X Games, going to do the obstacle course, doing all the crazy jumps and grinds. I'm like, this man's doing a 360 somersault McTwist, grabbing the skis between his legs while the skis are crossed off these like crazy Olympic sized 3 jumps. I'm like, hey, I've done little bunny hop jumps before. I can do that, no problem. I've never really gotten more than like 6 to 7 feet off the ground. This thing, my friend says, hey, if you want to go just up and over it, that's fine. But speed check, I don't know what a speed check is, Damien. I'm like, I don't even see the other end of the jump where I land the landing zone. I'm just going to go up and hope for the best, keep aiming straight.
Right.
I should have speed checked, Damien. First off, if you're going to do something nefarious, if you have to think about it for more than 15 seconds before you go and do it, don't do it. It's probably your body telling yourself something. So I'm up there, Damien, right? Picture this. You look at the top of the jump from way up here. Here's the top of the jump from way up here. I'm looking down. All I see past here is the view of the city miles away from the mountain. You
Oh
can't see
shit.
the landing zone. It felt like I was about to go skydiving with a pair of skis with no parachute. I'm up there for 3 minutes. My roommate says, you probably just shouldn't do it. No worries. No one's going to judge you. It's all good. I said, no, I have to do this. It's a pride
I
jump.
said nope.
I don't know what I was thinking, man. I go, I don't speed check at all. I go straight down I need all the speed I need. So here's the jump. I come down, zoom, 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 zoom. I hit the jump. There's a little like flat area before the landing area. I pass the flat area and I'm still going. And the next jump is coming up. So the bottom of the ramp where you're supposed to land is starting to get flat before this next jump because there were 3 of them in a row. When I tell you I have video in slow motion of me going Michael Phelps breaststroke midair, realizing I've lost all control. I'm way too high. I go to land on the flat area. I land with my feet first. I go into a side slide because there's just so much momentum. There's no way I'm about to land on my feet and not blow my knees out or something. So I go into like into a baseball slide. At this point, I think I was okay. I should have stayed laying down because I still had a lot of momentum moving forward. I try to do the cool skier thing where they wipe out, like push themselves up, and because they're still sliding, like maybe ski backwards. My skis, Damien, did not have the little lips that could have allowed me to ski backwards. No, they were the flat bottom ones. So I turned after standing back up, and that's when all the momentum caught in the hard snow, and I was flung with all the momentum over and over, to which then I slammed shoulder first into concrete hard snow and tore 2 rotator cuffs and had to get labor and repair. Here's the real nefarious part though, Damien. We'd only been there for an hour, and we just drove 2 hours to be there. We skied for another 2 hours. I just put my my poles away. I couldn't really lift my shoulder
You are
forward
insane.
or side, but there was no pain. I'm like, I feel like if I was injured, there'd be pain. I thought it was just a bad Charlie horse, until of course I went to a little clinic later and they said, nope, you're gonna need surgery.
Oh shit. Wow.
That's my nefarious story, Damien. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I love it. You want to hear my snowboarding accident?
Please.
Okay. So our neighbor at the time, this is years ago, maybe over 10 years ago now, but she worked for Alaska Airlines. And so they had the Alyeska resort. And so she invited myself and my sister, and you're snowboarding at night. The resort takes you all the way up, and you're snowboarding at night. It's just Alaska Airlines employees. And I probably did the slopes, I think maybe 16 times at this point. And it was the last run. They called this is your last run. We're shutting down. Go ahead. And I decided that on my last run, I was going to go on the one that's a little faster. I don't know why I did that. I was like, I just did 16 runs. I should try doing them.
You're as warmed up as you can be, Damien.
Yeah, I'm like, let me try it. And so I'm going on this last run. It's going great. I'm like, hell yeah. I'm a fucking badass.
I'm a pro, no problem.
What it is. I was like Tony Hawk pro skater.
Absolutely.
Damien pro fucking snowboarder. That was me. And killing it until there was a hard turn, and I could not stop or slow down in time.
Oh no.
I turn, snowboard flips. I'm attached to it.
Yeah, you are. With 2 feet.
With 2 feet, face first, slams into the snow, just like you.
That's not soft snow.
Fumbling. I'm going down. I'm rolling down the snow. Like how that's happened to you, right?
Sure enough.
I land, I black out for a second, wake up, and I'm like, fuck, that hurt. Yeah. And I touch my face, don't feel anything. I'm like, okay, I think I'm good. Unbuckle myself, walk down. I walk all the way back down the slope. Like, it's terrible. I'm the last person. Our neighbor is waiting down there.
Yeah.
She looks at me and just screams. And I'm like, I fell. What's wrong? my entire eye was cut and it was bleeding. And because it was so cold, my cut froze and all the blood froze. So I had no idea that I was even cut.
I feel
And
like
yeah,
I feel like that's like the opposite of when they do. I mean, this is like, worst comes to worst scenario when they use the freaking quick like gunpowder in movies to like you know uh to burn a scar that's like a deep cut and you can't
right.
stop it otherwise.
Yeah,
I feel like it freezing at the very least was
it
a way to
helps. Yeah.
naturally keep the inflammation down and the bleeding down and all that. So, ooh,
Yeah, and it was so bad that they like I went to the paramedic or whatever that they had there, and they're looking at it and they're like, this needs to be stitched immediately. And so we're in Alaska, where
yeah,
civilization is 40 minutes away. So
yeah,
they had to call in a plastic surgeon to come and work on my eye.
wild.
Yeah.
Damien, is that where some of this inspiration with the little X
Nah, I just
for
thought
the
it was
film?
cool, bro.
Fantastic. I
I was
love it
like, this is
regardless.
cool. It's a little branding. You know
I
what I'm
absolutely
saying?
love it regardless.
But that no, that's what it is. That's absolutely from now on. When anybody asks, I'm like, yeah, I had this snowboarding accident. My friend Jennings was like, you should just make that. That should be the story.
Absolutely.
That should
Make
be.
that part of the character, man. Make that an
Yeah.
attribute. Make that a description piece.
Okay. Have you heard about the metaverse?
Yes, man. Oh my
Oh
gosh, the
dang, he just
freaking
went down in tone.
yeah, with there's crypto, there's NFTs, and now there's the metaverse, which somehow all these things are also going to tie into, and that's just wild sauce.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this part of the conversation though.
How do you feel about it?
I think it is cool. I've
Mhm.
watched Ready Player One.
Right.
I watched a few movies that have an idea of like VR metaverse, step into another person's shoes, in a sense. Um, my only concern is, and I don't think it'll happen to everyone, but my only concern is the reality of Wall-E,
Yeah.
where people start to live in chairs. They somehow have automated feeding systems, drinking systems. They're very special high-end chairs. And there was one movie I can't remember. I think it was actually called Blank Check, where this kid and I'll
With
explain
Macaulay
it.
Culkin.
I think so.
Yeah.
And this guy runs over his bike, almost hits the kid, goes to like he doesn't have cash to say, hey, sorry about your bike. So he hands him a check, but the dude's in a rush and it's a blank check. So Macaulay Culkin writes out his own check, buys this crazy gaming chair that's like, it's like a lounge bag. It's got like 1,000 screens around him. And this was back in the 90s when this movie came out. I'm like, that's the coolest video game system ever. So my worry is, hey, hi, how are you? This happening with everybody, you know, and people getting
Jennings, I gotta
comfortable.
say, it is gonna happen.
Hmm.
We are gonna get lazy people. We are gonna get this transition where it's going to be more fun to be in this virtual world versus in the real world.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are going to be Wally.
It's crazy.
That's your fear, but it's gonna happen.
Well, look at how many movies have predicted stuff, and it's
Yeah.
let's hope that there are people, and I think I hope that I'll be one of them that still wants to go on an actual hike or travel to Japan or whatever else and go see the real world version of things. Because that's the thing is VR is gonna get better and better. There's already 4K movies, and now there's 6K and 8K. When the first 4K movie came out and we could watch it on a TV, you can see somebody's freckles.
Right.
You're like, wow, I didn't know that Freckles was a paid actor, but there he is, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Um, and some of that is clearer than what we can see with our eyes. The editing makes the colors more prominent than when we're out and about in real life.
Mm-hmm.
It is a scary thought to be like, okay, how soon will people say it's cheaper to just be in the metaverse to go experience the Grand Canyon via VR, to take helicopter rides via VR, etc. Take
Have
the
you gone
danger
into
away of
VR recently?
skydiving.
Have you done it? Have you been able to, are you he's pulling out his headset.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's headed there.
I haven't played since I've been in LA, but I do have my Oculus Quest 2.
There we go.
So, granted, listen, I think it's fantastic when it comes to like the at-home workouts. For example, I hate working out at home. I hate having to do body weight stuff or pretty much having to have that responsibility of doing it in the comfort of my own home because my home is comfortable. I want to go to the gym where there's other people, where I have to, it's not about showing up or showing off, but it is about going and saying, okay, these people are here working on themselves. That's motivating to me. If I'm at home by myself and I'm the only person watching myself to do it, it's tough. Do you remember when the Wii came out and they came out with that little tabletop thing for
Yeah,
Wii,
for Wii
like
Sports.
push-ups and like
Yeah.
step ups? Cool, super cool. I enjoyed that because they made it a game. I think the VR workout stuff, fantastic, cool. You can make it a game. Beat Saber, for God's sake, I sweat playing Beat Saber.
Oh, absolutely.
But again, it's that life part that I can sit in this comfy chair and go experience rock climbing and everything else without the danger.
Wherever you want and go wherever you want.
Yep.
It's wild.
Yep.
Well, I feel like we could just keep talking, but unfortunately, we're at the end of the episode.
We sure are, everybody.
We are at the end of what's going on? What's happening? Do you have anything to plug? You're going to be at LA Comic Con, right?
I am. I will be there Saturday and Sunday. So I will be there at Damien's panel. It's going to be fantastic. Super excited to go see it. No idea what I'm cosplaying yet. I will definitely bring Lucifer one of the days for sure. But otherwise, you guys, I'm Jennings Brower on all social media platforms. And I've got some really cool acting projects coming up that I can't say much about. January, I'm about to have my first lead role. Knock on wood. Yeah. Hopefully all that goes super exciting. And all I can say about that is I've made a hint previously in this episode that kind of has to talk about what my character is. So that is all I can say.
Oh, he did a little tease, you guys.
All I can say.
It was a little tease up in here. All right. Well, that was our episode, you guys. I hope you enjoyed our interview with Jennings. Make sure you follow wherever you guys are listening to this podcast. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you guys all for being here. Have a great weekend.